nationwide for your support of NUL. It gives me great honor to introduce you to our Chief Volunteer Officer. That's the Chairman of the National Urban League Board of Trustees. Please applaud and give a real welcome to Tim Murphy.
So good morning, everyone, and thank you, Mark, for that incredibly gracious introduction. It's a real honor to be with you all again and to share another day of conversation and of insight. And as we kick off day 2, I want to thank the Urban League staff for its incredible work planning this conference, an amazing day yesterday. And I also want to thank again the Houston Urban League and President Judson Robinson III for hosting us in this very beautiful city. We come together this year at a moment filled with celebration and with real urgency, rising to a heat that...
I'm proud to bring to the stage the CEO and National Director of the Anti-Defamation League. Together with ADL last year, several of us, including ADL, the National Action Network, the National Urban League, the Asian Americans Advancing Justice, AAJC, and others, called on the White House to host a hate crime summit. And together we put a spotlight on this rise in hate in America and the things we need to do to address it. So with that, I'm proud to welcome to the stage, and please give an Urban League welcome to Jonathan Greenblatt.
Good morning, everyone. As Mark said, my name's Jonathan. Communities are paralyzed by misunderstanding. And there are those who say there's more that divides us than what unites us. And I know that those sentiments, it's dispiriting. But I also know that that is not reality. It's not. It's not what happens when people actually talk and meet and spend time with each other. And I see that in the work that I do with Mark. And I see that in the work that our folks do with all of you from the Urban League. And I see it in my own life. I see it in my friendship with Nick Cannon. Some of you may know Nick. He's a busy man. Got a few kids. And it may surprise you, as I stand here today, to tell you that Nick and I are very close friends. After all, Nick is a famous singer, TV host, stand-up comedian. Past few years, Nick and I, we talk every Sunday. Every single Sunday. Why is that? Because we've got a lot to learn from each other. Now, it's a long story, and the people back there are going to tell you do not have time to tell that story. But quickly, back in the summer of 2020, you see that? they're going to give me to start playing the music. Nick said some things about the Jewish community that weren't just wrong, they were hurtful. And I called him out, and then he called me up to come by and to talk, to learn, and to understand.
Well, Nick Cannon has been trending since yesterday, and that's because of his most recent episode of his YouTube show, Cannon's Class. And they are saying that he is anti-Semitic and that he has bizarre racial theories. He was talking with Professor Griff, former Public Enemy figure, who also was kicked out of Public Enemy for making similar claims in an interview then. Here is what Nick Cannon had to say about Black people being the true Hebrews.
When we go as deep as the Rothschild, centralized banking, the bloodlines that control everything, even outside of America. When we talk about the people who, if we were truly the children of Israel, and we're defining who the Jewish people are, because I feel like if we actually can understand that construct, then we can see that there is no hate involved. When we talk about the lies, the deceit, how the fake dollar controls all of this, then maybe we can get to the reason why they wanted to silence you, why they want to silence Minister Farrakhan, and they want to throw that we are having hate speech when it's never hate speech, when it's not. You can't be anti-Semitic when we are the Semitic people, when we are the same people that they want to be. That's our birthright.
Nick and I both believe in counsel culture, not cancel culture. So what this means is that when someone makes a mistake, you don't push them away, you pull them in. You engage rather than disengage. You extend your hand to help the offender, to make amends so that together you can make a difference. Now, our conversations and that shared belief came together in a podcast that we now both do every single month.
I can wholeheartedly say I know Kyrie Irving is not anti-Semitic.
When given the chance to say, are you anti-Semitic or not, he didn't say, no, I'm not anti-Semitic.
I just want to offer my deep apologies to all those who are impacted over these last few weeks, specifically my Jewish relatives, my black relatives, you know, all races and cultures. I feel like we all felt the impact, and I don't stand for anything close to hate speech or anti-Semitism or anything that is going against the human race. It should have been, you know, on the first day that I was dealing with all this, of just being there for all those that felt like this was anti-Semitic. And I should have clarified that I'm not anti-Semitic.
Kyrie, for the record, do you have any anti-Semitic beliefs?
Again, I'm going to repeat. I don't know how the label becomes justified, because you guys ask me the same questions over and over again. But this is not going to turn into a spin-around cycle of questions upon questions. I told you guys how I felt. I respect all walks of life and embrace all walks of life. That's where I sit.
I think what people want to hear, though, is just a yes or no on that question. Yes or no.
I cannot be anti-Semitic if I know where I come from. I cannot be anti-Semitic if I know where I come from.
Kyrie, did you personally meet with the ADL?
I was informed that they wanted to have a meeting, and we handled it.
The press conference, tell us about that movie. Why did he said, stop dehumanizing me? And the movie is saying white Jews invented the Holocaust and 6 million Jews didn't get killed. Okay, I know that isn't right, because there's a gigantic historical record. Jewish people know when you dehumanize us this way, we know what's around the corner.
So in that same statement as those are the tropes that dehumanize Jewish people, the same buck breaking.
What's that? I don't really know what that means, to be perfectly honest.
The slave masters would bring the buck, the one that gets out of line. So all the other slaves would see lash after lash, showed them the power to set an example. This is what you must do to fall in line. So when we see the 6 things that Kyrie must do to get his job back,
Right.
That's dehumanizing